Hi, hello, hi, and welcome to All Our Hearts and Minds. Thank you again for tuning in. We're here to discuss all things that have been on our hearts and minds, the good, the bad, the concerning, and uplifting, or just straight talk. We're your hosts, Kimi, our passionate heart,
Yeah, I am.
and me, Jeanette, our mind and chronic overthinker. Let's get into it.
Yes.
Yes, okay, my
That'd be
girl.
nice.
Let's
Yes.
do our checkup.
Mm-hmm.
Are you feeling okay? Are you doing
I'm doing
well?
all right, you know.
Wonderful.
Yes, I'm gonna be having as you know, I'm gonna have the housewarming next weekend. So we're just preparing for that and getting putting together our stuff that, to get ready, the
Mm-hmm.
cups, the plates, the this, the that, the this, the that.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall we're doing all right over here. How
I
about you,
can't
girl?
can't wait. Yeah, it's always good to have something to look forward to in an
It
event.
sure is, because
An event,
nowadays.
yeah, nowadays, right? An event could be a little bit nerve-wracking. Well, some people love to do it. It's in their blood. Personally, for
Hmm.
me, it's one of my least favorite things. Even though when it's done and you do it, you get some endorphins and you're happy to see people having a
Exactly.
decent time. It is the planning and getting and the prep is a little nerve-wracking for me, but I'm glad you're doing it and can't wait
Hmm.
to join you and celebrate your new home.
Thank you. And you know what? Usually, this type of stuff is a little nerve-wracking for
Hmm.
me because I have high expectations for myself. Like, I
Mm,
always seem to set my expectations so high that even
yes.
I can't meet them.
No.
So, but overall, like, I'm excited to have everybody over and to
Mhm.
just, be in my home and bless my home with, laughter and chatter and, all of
Mhm.
the above. So I'm excited.
Nice.
How are you doing?
Ooh, I am doing pretty good. I mean, even though we had a little snowstorm here yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
I smell spring in the air, and that always lifts my spirits. And yeah, so I've been doing pretty good. I This week I told you I went to Vancouver for work, so it
Mm-hmm.
was a in and out, just like three, couple nights there, and did some work stuff. But I also did a little bit of exploring. And this month I'm even going to be I'm getting so what I'm looking forward to, let's say, is
Mm-hmm.
I'll be going to outside of your housewarming this month. I'll be
Mm-hmm.
also going to Atlanta for a networking thing. So
Oh,
I'm
nice.
looking forward to that. At first I was like, I don't know, and the work budget, you have to be, you have to be careful and stuff like that. But it was like something internally that they're putting together for employees that are of the Black diaspora
Oh,
in the culture, and it's an
nice.
initiative that they created, which is, on one hand, I mean, I think, we've talked about this before, but like George Floyd, that incident, I don't know what to call the George Floyd thing. I mean, we're never going to forget his name, but that time, I don't know what we call before. There's before George Floyd, and there's post George, and there's during George Floyd's the riots and stuff, and then there's post George Floyd, right? So I don't know what we call
I
that
call
time.
it the Enlightenment.
The
That's what I
Enlightenment,
call it.
yeah, something.
Not
I
for
want,
us Black people,
yeah,
because we
not
done
for
been
us. Oh
enlightened.
no, no, not for
Okay?
us, but
But I think it was a dawn of enlightenment
mm,
because white people or every other race
mm,
had a chance to really see, not hear about it in the news or
mm,
from a friend, but really see what Black people deal with every day.
mm.
So, and you couldn't ignore it.
Yeah, the
So,
Enlightenment.
yeah.
Let's call it the Enlightenment. So, post Enlightenment, one of the things that came out of that moment was a lot of organizations, whether they're forced to, whether it's through conversation, not forced, let me not use that word, but pressure, or like just, or just, they just want to do something. A lot of people felt powerless and wanted to do something. So, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
there was an enlightenment, there was a lot of listening, there was a lot of whatever. And something that came out of that is a lot of organizations, people who work in the corporate world were saying that, yes, I'm happy that I got a job, and I am like, supported or whatever, or I mean, I'm hired, but there's sometimes
Mm-hmm.
there's no path or mentorship for
Yep.
somebody like me because the people at the top don't look like me.
That's right.
And
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of corporations have put in like programs and things to kind of, or even in their hiring practices, Just have that in mind, like,
Mm-hmm.
and not, it shouldn't be the determining reason, but you should just think of everybody in the organization when you're hiring. And so anyway, that's the reason I'm going. It's going to be, I
Yeah, it should
took
be
part of a,
fun.
yeah, I took part of a program, and this is like the final event of it. And so
Some nice weather for a change. Jeez,
yeah, hopefully, I don't know what the weather is like there. I didn't check, but
can't be as cold as here. That's all I gotta tell you.
that's true. That's true. So I'm looking forward to that. Otherwise, everything's good. Family's good. I
Mm.
give thanks for it all. Okay, so before we get into headlines, as we're recording, we're going into International Women's Day,
Mm-hmm.
and March is unofficially or officially considered Women's Month. I think, I
Yep,
believe.
yep.
At the very least, this week will be all about International Women's Day or month, and we're going to be talking
Mm-hmm.
about a lot of women's issues and such. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I went on to their official. There's like a site that they have for the organization or whatever, and I found out that this year's theme is, interestingly enough, as I was talking about that program I took a part of, is embrace equity.
Mm.
And I mean, that should go without saying, but like, when we talked had our episode on what is feminism, we talked about
Mm-hmm.
um conversations about women, equity for women, and equality for women or whatever, um
Mm-hmm.
sometimes dismisses non white folks.
Yeah.
So it's central around white folks. And so now, I guess, I mean, I think people are more and more, like, all the programs that I've had to take part of, like, because now
Right.
and it's mandatory. But I have a point on that before we move on. Again, congrats. It's International Women's Day, and we're going to talk in our workout. We're going to talk a little bit more about who the women that we aspire to be or who inspire us in our
Mm-hmm.
workout. So keep listening. But I find that when we talk about International Women's Day, or even diversity and equity in general, because that's essentially the theme for Women's Day this year,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the talking. I hear too much talking. I mean, I'm not in. I'm a person who's not into long talking, as Jamaicans
No,
say,
you're not.
and long talking. It's somebody in patois, you'll hear that a lot, but really what that just means is talk is cheap. Like,
Yes.
action, 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 action,
Yes.
and something that I think is an action that will be more effective, not only for like women's equity, but like racial equity, even LGBTQ equity, all
Mm-hmm.
the equities, ageism, everything that we learn about in that DEI training that we have to do every year,
Mm-hmm.
is, instead of like doing these courses and blah 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 blah, like, I mean, I think a conversation is a little bit better, but I mean, who knows, people don't have time. But also, instead of the long talking, why don't we build structures so that's naturally in the system? Nothing beats systemic anything, as we can see. Anything
Yep.
that's built into the system can't be cheated because it's built into the system. Like, I mean,
That's it.
we see the
Mm-hmm.
negative side of it, like with, let's say, systemic racism or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what about being systemic in the positive things in terms of DEI and diversity, equity, and inclusion, where it's not even possible for somebody to or nearly impossible for folks to kind
Go
of
against the grain.
go
Yeah.
against the grain. So make it more
Mm-hmm.
systemic versus like the long talking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's just something that crossed my mind. As I was kind of looking into
And
this.
I
And
agree with you. And I
Mhm.
really do agree with you that, you know what, talk is cheap and we've been talking too damn long. So we need to put these things into action. But what I will say is that in my generation, I can see an International Women's Day because
Yes.
that was never before.
No.
That
Yeah.
was
It's
never
new.
before.
It was when we were kids. Yeah, or
Yeah,
teenagers.
right? Teenagers that
Mhm.
this started to come about. And it really wasn't even pushed
No,
the
it was
way it
not
is
pushed like
now.
it is now. Absolutely not.
Right. And so that shows progress. And
Yes.
so I do want to acknowledge that progress and that
Hmm.
we can't take away from, even though our steps are small, there's still steps. And so I agree with you 100%. We need to take larger steps, but we do need to acknowledge the progression. And we have progressed in a good direction. Because if you think about it, our mother's age, our mother's generation, international who? No, there was none of the above. It was Mother's Day and that was it. That's all you got. Okay. And so it's nice that this is happening. So International Women's Day to all you women out
Yes,
there. Big up
celebrate yourself.
yourself. Ah.
Yes. Embrace equity. If you don't, you should already be doing that, but
Yes, yes, I am. Every day.
every day, all the time, naturally.
Yes.
Okay, so yes, we're gonna be talking a little bit more of that in our workout, but just want to just give a shout out and celebrate. And as we were saying, now this is something we put to the forefront. Okay,
Big up yourself. Big up yourself. All women out there. Yes.
Yes. Okay, so we'll get into the headlines, and I'm going to kick it off with something that's old and new, I guess. And that is Chris Rock has been touring for a while, even before the infamous incident. AKA Les Slap.
The slap of the years.
Of the year of the goddamn century.
You can't live this down. You can't live it down. You know?
And so of course he included that material up in his show. And I kind of saw I've seen like some headlines or somewhere online where somebody who saw the show gave the content of one of those jokes. I mean, with that incident, like literally that was a global incident. Like he can push, he can have all 3-4 jokes in the show and it won't be too much, because how you just don't talk about, you don't have a big show and tour as a comedian and not talk about it.
Yeah.
So I expected the joke, but what I didn't expect from this great, he's considered a legend in the comedy world, and I can give him that, but the joke was like bad. And so I will tell you, obviously
here comes the shucking and jiving, everyone.
It's
Prepare
not
yourself.
It's not it wasn't recorded, so it's more somebody said something else. So pretty much the quote that I've seen is he says in the show, "I rooted for Will Smith my whole life. The other day I watched Emancipation just so I could watch him getting whipped." And of course, I guess maybe the joke he saw there is that movie Emancipation, Will Smith is playing a runaway slave, essentially. And so I was like, ooh, cringe. I mean, there's so much material in that incident, and this is a joke you came up with? It's not even funny. It's not even
like
funny.
That's the thing. It's like there's funny and then there's this. Do you know what I mean? Like this is not anywhere near funny. It wasn't comical at all. I think, I expect Chris Brown. He's on my mind. Chris Rock to exploit the whole situation and milk it to make as much money off of this slap as he could possibly make. But these jokes that you're making are just not that funny. I think you should look at the climate that we're in. I think you should pay attention to when you're saying this in the Black History Month. Like, really, bro? Like, I think you should have thought that through. I know your resentment and anger for Will is stronger than your rationale, but brethren, it wasn't funny.
That's what's unforgivable, because if it was funny, I would definitely give it. I mean, he has, like, the man got, like, slapped on global television. Like, listen, you have that.
And I expect him for years to come. Okay?
Yeah.
To milk
that.
This situation.
That's fine.
But can it be funny?
Please.
That's what I'm saying.
Another quote, and again, maybe it's in the delivery, because a lot of Chris Rock's delivery is like his tone of voice and like kind of what he does like with his body, and so maybe the tone.
You can't make this funny though. You just can't make that funny.
I mean, yeah, it's hard. Like I'm trying to give him a pinch of grace, but it's like I just can't believe how bad it is. Like
it's tremendously horrible. I've heard him make other jokes that were like a little on the cringy side, but to me, I think he just took the case with this one. And to be quite honest, it's like, how does one Black man say that he wants another Black man to get whooped?
You enjoy seeing him getting whooped. Yeah, that's weird.
Like, I could understand you saying, I enjoy him being punched or kicked down or something like that. But whooped? Because when you think of the notation that goes along with that, like really,
Yeah, with the
I
movie,
don't know.
it's really, it's giving,
That's a shucking and driving for
yeah,
me.
it's
You
giving
know,
Coon,
skinning a lot, but not funny.
not funny is the unforgivable part. So okay, so just before I move on, I think recently host made his Netflix. He's making Netflix history and doing his live show, which is called Selective Outrage, and I believe it is airing. It's coming soon because I could have sworn when I went on Netflix I saw some picture of something, so I don't know if it was released. Oh, it's the night Chris Rock makes streaming. Oh, it's actually tonight. We're recording Saturday night
Wow.
at 10:50 p.m. It's 10:30 where we're at right now. It's going to stream live. So, okay, so that's coming out. So, I guess we're going to see that terrible joke. I hope it's not that bad. Maybe it's a different version that's funny, but what I'm reading here is trash. But anyway, that's what it is. We'll keep it moving. Okay, so I don't know if I don't think we talked about this story when it first happened, but there was a story going around with this young cop by the name of Megan Hall, or Megan. I'm going to say Megan. It looks like
Megan. She's trying to be fancy. It's Megan.
Our parents are trying to be fancy. So there was a cop, pretty much, there was a lot of jokes online about it and everything, where they're saying she pretty much had a gang bang sexual or orgy sexual encounter with her fellow officers, one of them being her captain. So that one's kind of, I don't know if that's one's looking the shady part, but so that's what they're saying. It was an orgy and it seemed to be consensual, and that was the news, and everybody's making jokes, and she got fired and everybody else got fired from what I heard. So obviously embarrassing, and she was married at that time, so it was like a very young lady, but I think she was like she's 26 now, but still pretty young to be going full-time professional, full-time cop. And she was married, so a lot of people, there was a lot of jokes and stuff around it, right? Circling around, well, that's what I saw. I didn't really read the story because it was kind of gross to me, so I never really read the article. But then there is a new article, or I seen some videos circling around that she was on the news, and now she's fighting back. How many months later? I wonder when did the story first break? Let me see. When the 51 page lawsuit. I'm just
I think it was not last week, but the week.
It was this year. I don't think it was that. No, it was a little bit. I would give it like at least a month, but regardless, it happened and she got fired.
No, but that's when it hit the news.
That's when
it was a big news story. Was I think a couple weeks ago. But you know what, this Megan, you know what, one thing I thought about today, honestly, I've been hearing so much about these damn police officers, but I don't hear them solving no damn crime. Okay, I hear them doing everything other than fighting crime. Okay, like this is getting ridiculous. Like she's just adding to the whole, archive of different matters that have happened, and I'm hearing less of, the cop saving someone or, being a hero than I am hearing. Like all I hear is this type of nonsense when it comes to police officers. Megan Hill, use a freak. Okay, use a freak. You got it on with everybody in the precinct, okay? And now, them white girl tears, I told you, everybody, them white girl tears are something you should be afraid of. And now we want to backtrack and pussy pop. No, Bridget, you are the one that laid down with all these men. It was consensual. You're a married woman. I don't understand. I'm having a hard time. I'm really having a hard time. It's not like you weren't on the actual force. You're a police officer. So you tried to make your way up in the ranks, and you had a whole gangbang of trillaload man come and deal with your case. And it's like now you regret it, and now you want to, now you're the victim. And I'm sorry, but as long as it was consensual, and that's what I've heard consecutively, is that it was consensual. The only person that I have to side eye is the captain because of the power dynamics. But to be quite honest, girl, I don't know. I don't understand. Like, I'm really confused. You signed up for this. You laid down for it. You had how many different mans them deal with you. All like, I don't understand why now there's like a buyer's regret, and now you're the victim, and now all of those men are now fired off of the police force. And if it wasn't consensual, they have every right to be underneath the jail. However, it was. So, hey,
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna go there,
Yeah.
because
So
seven officers, really, girl?
yeah, and they were
Really?
not all one time. Like some of them, she like reading the story. She had like an orgy with maybe it was like three, and then she had separate relationships or affairs with other people. She got out of hand, and now she's coming out with a document and saying that she was in a bad place and she was vulnerable because she was
Mm-hmm.
on the verge of a divorce with her husband. And now she's going with the position, her and her lawyer, that she was sexually groomed, and saying that she said no, and all types of, and there was pressure and all, you guys, it's 51-page deposition. Obviously you don't want to get into it, but these are the headlines. She's basically saying she felt terrorized by her superiors, and she feels like she was sexually groomed. And so her and her lawyer did a statement, and her lawyer was saying that she wasn't looked at as a rookie cop to be trained and promoted. She was looked at as a piece of meat to be sexualized and exploited. So
And quit.
yeah, and she's fighting back. And to be honest, like I to your point, we kind of see somebody who was off the rails, who was very reckless with her, very reckless. Says she has her explanation. No matter even if you can rationalize in your head because you have something personal going on, it doesn't make it right. And so she was very careless by sleeping with all these various peoples, right? And so my thing is, now she's fighting back because she lost her job. She's embarrassed. She's embarrassed herself, her family, her husband. And so I feel like now she's just fighting back because there is a story for her. And the story is, even if those relationships were consensual, which it seems like that's why those guys were never charged, or and she was also fired. That's clear. However, it looks like there could be trouble for her police chief, who was fired as well, but it could turn into more, like, because if she's suing, she's lost her job, that's her livelihood, so she's trying to get compensation for all the nonsense. And all these guys, she was careless, but the men who also participated were careless as well, and they're
No,
gonna.
and you know what? I'm not gonna not come down on those men. These are police officers who are supposed to protect and serve.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in one breath, this is why the whole organization, it rocks me the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Because in one breath you stick together against the world, but when it comes to it, you won't help each other out. Like, I don't even understand how you're allowing yourself to be in that position. Quit.
Mm.
I know it sounds that easy, but if I feel as though I'm being groomed, or I'm being harassed, or any of the above at work, I'm going to leave said job.
Mm.
And now I would have real grounds to sue you for sexual harassment. But instead, you went along with it. You were doing it for however long, didn't think about your family, didn't think about maybe saving your relationship with your husband. You didn't think about none of that. Okay. But now, your life is up in arms, and now we're the victim. So I have a really hard time with things like this, because there are actual victims out there who've had to deal with this type of thing. And so I'm sorry. I just feel like it's buyer's remorse.
Mm.
You feel bad. You lost your job. You got found out. However it came to be. Okay, and now we want to backtrack and, oh, I was being groomed, and oh, poor is me. Well, you had options and you didn't explore them. But now the whole, how many, 7 of you plus, like, how many people have lost their job?
Yeah,
Like, I'm just saying, like,
including her.
Choices made here.
Including her was 7.
There's choices made here.
There's choices here all around. And so one thing I do know is outside of being all these people being fired, including her police chief. Her police chief could get in some trouble. Police chief, his name is Burl Davis.
Yes.
Because he was in a position. They were all kind of in a position of power because they all have more experience than her. But in particularly somebody she reported to, which is a supervisor and this chief guy. Yeah, it's looking messy for them. But we'll see where that story
And that's
goes.
the one that I'll give the side eye to.
Yeah.
You
They
know.
all deserve, everybody, including her, deserve.
Yeah, everybody gets a side eye, but particularly that you're in a place of power. That's something different for me, because then I can understand her saying she felt this, that, and a third.
Yes, yeah.
From someone in power over her. Not you're a police officer with senior experience. No, I'm talking about you're my boss in essence, right? Yeah. So yeah, but let's move on from Megan Hall
and her dirtiness. Nasty.
Dirtiness.
Second story is a little bit lighter, I think.
Please.
So actor Isaiah Washington, he's mostly known for Grey's Anatomy. That was like, we known him as young in older Black movies. I mean, I always remember him from like other movies and stuff. But I mean, I think he got more mainstream when he was in Grey's Anatomy, and
yes, he did.
Got famous for getting fired from Grey's Anatomy because he
sure did
had some certain views, and so he went on Instagram and made an announcement that he is retiring, and his statement. I'm going to read his long ass Instagram post, and it says, it's with a heavy heart and sense of release that I'm announcing my early retirement from the entertainment industry. Those who've been following and witnessing my journey on social media all know that I have fought the good fight, but it seems that the haters, provocateurs, and the useful idiots have won. I am no longer interested in the back and forth regarding a color contract, in quotes, that keeps us human beings divided, nor am I interested in politics or anything vitriolic. I will be traveling this great country before it falls into socialism, then communism. Until then, know that this Frederick Douglass conservative will keep his powder dry and loves you all. I'm truly grateful for your support over the years. It looks like Corsicana, the Corsicana movie, may be the last time you see me as an actor born here in America. Just know that I will be posting a few pictures of my retirement shenanigans here and there, but until then, be safe out there. Your loved ones love you. Salute. So, this is coming from him. This is that I've been seeing. This is like his third retirement. It's
I was about to fall asleep. Like
it's attention-seeking behavior.
Yep.
And here the next day, not only 2 days later, he went and he created a GoFundMe asking people to donate money for a independent movie project, asking for $1 million.
AKA his retirement plan. But go on.
Right? So you're relying on folks. He's saying, I'm asking for an initial $1 million in support of my ultimate goal, but my ultimate goal is $5 million. I have never asked for help or financial support like this in my life or career.
So why start now?
Well, because nobody's gonna,
nobody's checking for you. That's why nobody's checking for you, bro.
He says it's since my announcement from retiring from the entertainment industry, it's become clear that I've been operating outside of the traditional Hollywood system successfully for the last 15 years. And that's kind of his rationale. Like, so maybe there's some people who put some gas in his tank, or maybe he made that post to get some sympathy and support so he could put out a good GoFundMe for
that's all I'm trying to say. You know what, this guy has said this before. And you know what, I do feel like it's an attention grab, that he wants some sort of attention. You're not gonna get it from me. Sorry, bro. I don't really care. I don't really care if you come or if you go. I really don't.
And the reason what started this downfall, because he was known as a solid actor. He's good looking. He's consistent. And so when he was on Grey's Anatomy, there was a gay character on the show, and he got in a fight with the person and used, I believe, the F word, the homophobic slur that we no longer use, rhymes with maggot, and that was the incident that eventually got him fired. And from then he's just been spiraling. He's become a very Republican, very I don't see color, one of those people. And so I was almost kind of relieved for him when he got on P-Valley, which is a show I watch about. It's about the stripper lifestyle, what do you call it? A strip club in the South, and all the various characters around that, or I don't know what to call it, establishment, let's call it. And so he was playing like a crooked mayor, and he did it damn well. I was like, whoo. It reminded me.
He did it.
He did the thing as that character, and then after that first season, he didn't come back. And I was questioning, I wondered why. That was strange, because I was like, I feel like there's a lot of pressure because there is like one of the main character is of the LGBTQ character, and they have like a really big storyline around that person. So I wonder if there was a lot of backlash. There was, I believe, there was some backlash to the creator, Katori Hall, who made that show and writes for that show, and I feel like that's the reason why he got cut. Me personally, behind the scenes, they can't say that, but that's what I think. And he's again he's still consistently been a very vocal Republican, and has said a few anti-Black things as far as I'm concerned. He was also a supporter of R. Kelly by saying that he was on
you just lost me.
Yeah. Okay. Not a supporter. Okay, I don't know. So maybe supporter is a strong word, but he had the nerve to go on Vlad TV and say that, she knew what she was doing, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah, you're supporting
which is kind of sick. So no love lost there, but get it together, Isaiah. Just get it together.
Please and thanks. Honestly, bro.
With a few minutes left here, I'm gonna just say one thing. So my boy, sexy ass, Michael B. Jordan.
Yes.
Is in the news. Man. Gorgeous man. God has blessed him so well.
I wasn't married. Okay.
So
he's fine.
They recently released Creed 3, which he, in addition to starring in, he was starred in all the other Creeds. But he directed this one. He took over from Ryan Coogler and directed, and everybody's saying it's pretty good. So he was doing the red carpet event for the movie, and one of the interviewers, who's a podcaster by the name of L'Oreal, she's known for, it's funny because the popular podcast that she's on is called The Bully and the Beast. And so she was interviewing him, and if you see that clip, he stops and she's doing her little intro before asking him a question. He's standing there nodding his head, like, when somebody's just like, okay, finish your little piece, I'll let you finish type of stance. And then he says, oh, the corny nigga. And I was like, ooh,
here we go.
And then I didn't watch. She tried to pussy pop and backtrack on that, but I feel like she should have been like, "Oh no, I didn't call you corny." Because the thing is, she actually, in fact, did not call him corny. The person who called him corny was she did another co-host, and her co-host said that when they were talking about him when he split with Lori Harvey. So the co-host called him corny, and then L'Oreal rebutted and said, oh no, well, I went to high school. She just came in and said, I went to high school with him, and we did kind of make fun of him because his name is people called him Michael Jordan because, right, without the B, his name's Michael Jordan. They're like, you ain't no Michael Jordan. And he used to come to school with his headshot. So they're like, you just make fun of him pretty much. And so it spiraled into this whole thing, right? And some people, the debate is, was he wrong for not letting that go, for even bringing that up? Because I still think, I don't think he was really disrespectful, because he still stopped to stop and talk to her. If he was really bitter, he would have walked right past her. But he didn't walk past her. He stood by her, listened, and answered his question. He put in a little salt in it, to just, whatever, because he was a little salty. He's salty, but I still think it was respectful. He didn't, I don't think he was mad disrespectful to her. However, there are some people who are thinking that, like, why don't you let that go? You're rich, you're successful. Like, why would you call it back? And then there's some people who are like, well, look at, we all been kids. We were all, some of us were, a lot of us were teased. Realistically, at some point in time, we got teased
Yep.
in school. And what, what, who doesn't hope to get their get back sometimes? Because it sounds like it was pretty bad. Because if he's remembering it, it must have been bad. Like, that's
Yeah,
all
he was made fun of a lot. Yeah, he's a grown ass man and he's still remembering that. Yeah, he didn't like it at all. Nah, bro. And you know what? I think he should clap back, because there comes a point where you keep rattling the bear, and eventually the bear is going to clap back at you. And so that's what happened. I think you should kind of, here's the thing, is that when you go out of your way to make fun of people, you have to be prepared for the day where they're like, you know what, I've had enough of you and your nonsense. So I don't know. I don't know. I think he should say something. I think he had to say something.
Yeah, I think if he was
just like a little pom pom. Yeah, so he had to say something.
Yeah, and if he was disrespectful, maybe I'd agree with those people on that side of the fence. But I think him even giving her an interview was respectful and still, not bad. So yeah, we'll move on. That's an interesting story that was going on. Okay, so for music news, we're a little bit delayed on this news, but I meant to talk about it because we've been talking about, there is a trend that we noticed last year of artists selling their what do you call it? Their masters. And so now we have a record label doing that by the name of Quality Control, or QC, and QC Records. And they're known for, people who are listening who don't know, they are the label and management for the rapper Lil Baby, the Migos, and City Girls. Those are their big acts that they're known for. I think they may have some smaller ones up and coming, but those are their big acts. And so I believe it was, earlier this month, they sold they signed an agreement to merge with it's called Hybe, or Hybe. I don't know, like it's Hype. It's Hype, but with a B instead of a P. So Hybe. I don't know. It's a weird name. Who knows? But anyway, it's owned by Scooter Braun. And Scooter Braun is a guy that was responsible for a lot of big acts like Kesha, Justin Bieber, most notably, what's her name, Taylor Swift, because she's been in a battle with him because he's stolen her music. She said she stole her music, and he's kind of known as a questionable.
Yeah, he's a little on the grimy side.
Yeah, he's known kind of a grimy kind of music exec, but. So now he is paid over at the value of approximately $320 million to acquire Quality Control, which is Quality Control Records, and all their acts, and including their acts, and as well as sports, film, and television. Founded by the CEO Pierre Thomas, also known as P in social media, and then Kevin Lee, also known as Coach K. And so this is an interesting move. So the debate, and why I was bringing up the debate that's coming up, is we're always talking about, since again we talk about the Enlightenment, since the Enlightenment has put fire under all groups behind to kind of think of how to have systemic success. So we're trying to combat systemic racism, but also how do we systemically elevate as a people across the diaspora in particular,
right?
And excuse me, some people were a little bit upset that they sold QC to Scooter Braun, because they're just thinking like, that's your legacy, that's a Black-owned business, you guys started from the ground up, and you sold it to this person who's not Black. And
why is it the white man's ice is always shiny?
Okay, here's the other.
I don't understand it.
Here's the other side. The other side of the argument that people who are trying to support them are saying that, well, maybe they're looking to do bigger things. Maybe they want to get into movies. Maybe they want to do, they need
But
some
how is
cash from.
selling your masters gonna do that?
And it's not selling them. They're not selling their masters. They sold the whole record company and their holdings. So just even.
well, right. But I would fight for my masters. Yeah. I would fight for it.
Well, they're not artists. They're the record label, right? So who knows what kind of deal? So in this case, I don't know what kind of deal they have with their artists. Maybe their artists own their masters, right? So I don't know.
Oh, okay. As long as they own their masters.
Well, I don't know we don't know the business side of things, and the artists haven't said anything. So I'm assuming that whatever deal they have, well, we'll hear. If it's a bad deal, we'll hear about it soon enough, right? That people will start talking. But it kind of makes me wonder. Well, some people were saying that maybe they just want to, they want to get global, because right now, obviously, they've had amazing success in the US, but they're saying that P. So here's what P had to say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to call this. HYBE. This is like a weird business name. HYBE are perfect partners for quality. HYBE. I don't even know how to say it. So weird. Are perfect partners for quality control as we come together to take our story and work global. All of HYBE's leaders are entrepreneurs with phenomenal combined history, finding talent and taking it to the highest level. Taking QC worldwide requires key partners like this who understand building something from the bottom and aiming sky high. It matters to us greatly, their grasp of culture and acutely seeing what QC has built and the limitless path where it can go. Over the years, Scooter and I have cultivated real trust and a common way of looking at the world and culture. An added bonus of this partnership is, in fact, the fact that both QC and HYBE have existing relationships with UMG family, and that will create an easy flow that will benefit the artists. The artists of QC are our focus, and their best interests will be incredibly supported with this partnership. I mean, if I was their artist, I'd be very uncomfortable, personally.
Yeah, 100%.
I wonder, like, they can't say anything publicly, but this is interesting. Very, very, very interesting. It could be a benefit or it could be a downfall, right? And they say it's supposed to go global, but like the artists that they have so big.
I never see a black man selling something to a white man being beneficial. I'm sorry, because they usually will take what you've built and change it into something entirely different that doesn't speak to the same demographic. So I have a hard time with that, because why could you not have sold it to someone who was black, who would have stayed true to the vision? I don't know.
Well, they sold.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it shouldn't matter. Money is money, but I don't know. I think lots of black people who are rich, and that could have bought it.
But I don't. So I think they sold.
For me, it's like, why go that route?
Yeah, they clearly. I hate to say it, but when you go to the highest bidder, it goes without saying that you sold out. But we'll see, because Scooter Braun does have some. I believe Doja Cat, I think, is one of his artists. I believe, and he's given her a lot of freedom. But I feel like he kind of you would kind of have to with an artist like that, because she came up from the underground being weird, so you can't just rein her in completely.
No, you can't actually.
But
it's unfortunate.
Some people were saying,
but with giving her liberty, she's done so well.
Of course, that's what I mean. It was in their best interest. It was in their best interest to let her still be free, because that's what brought her underground success. So how are you gonna sign her and take that away? But we'll see. I don't want this to be a bad thing, but it's a very eerie move. And like you said, it would have been nice if they sold QC to one of the more a black exec, who, because they're out there. There's Diddy, they're out there, but I think maybe they're not willing to pay $320 million, which is a huge bag. So We shall see.
Yeah, we're gonna watch and see, but I don't know. For myself, I think I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's all about the money. Maybe it's all about the money. $320 million is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I agree. However, do you, I don't know, if it's maybe all about the money, then I can understand you not wanting to preserve, Black music because it will change. It will change and it will not be what you left it as. So, anyway, we'll see what's popping there. But I'm not holding my breath on that one. I'll tell you that for sure.
Okay, so we will be moving on to our first segment, which is Wagwan for real.
Wagwan for real.
And so we are this week talking about our little princess. Oh, she's not a little princess anymore, but our little cousin, Zendaya. Zendaya has recently secured the bag.
Yes, she sure did. She sure did.
And she has renegotiated her contract for Euphoria and will now be paid nearly $1 million per episode. And personally, before we talk further, I want to say congratulations on
Thank
that.
You, girl. Thank you. And show them what you're worth. Show them.
And secondly, she deserves. Yes, she deserves.
Yes, she does.
And why this is a lot of mercy, or no, sorry, this is not a lot of mercy. A Wagwan, what is going on for real? Because remember, with Wagwan for real, we look at stories that don't add up. They don't make sense. And I'm gonna tell you people what doesn't make sense. What doesn't make sense to me
Say it
are the people on Twitter trying to throw shade.
Shame this poor girl for what?
And shame this girl to be like, oh, $1 million an episode is ridiculous. And Sydney Sweeney only makes this and blah 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 blah. People, I don't know where these are clearly young people. These are clearly Gen Z because you don't know the shows in the late 90s, early 2000s. People were making $1 million episode for shows where they had all 20 episodes per season, unlike Euphoria. Euphoria is literally like 8 episodes. I think you might get 8 episodes per season, 8 or 10 max. So I don't get what people are shading her for.
Wow.
Outside of here's what she's done for first of all, if you watch Euphoria, this isn't even like she like rude.
And you know what I kept saying to you yesterday. Okay. She made the show. But go on. She made the show. I don't care nobody tells me. That girl made the show.
Yeah,
what it is today.
For those who don't watch the show, Rue is the heart of the show.
Pretty much. The heart. That's where it starts.
And the heart of the show is always crucial for its success. So if her character had a bad storyline or whatever, then the show's success or viewership would definitely decline. But she has consistently delivered as Rue, and not only that, she's an executive producer on the show. Not only that, she publicizes and promotes the shit out of that show.
Thank you.
More so than her co-stars, I'd have to say, to be honest. Okay, this girl
doesn't deserve it.
Working. I don't know if it's because she's an executive producer or what, but she does a lot outside of already doing an amazing portrayal of her character.
Yeah.
She's also doing a lot of legwork. And so if we think about one thing I always think about with this $1 million per episode thing is back in the day, Friends, very popular, very popular, on for a long time, huge cast.
Yeah.
Most, if not all of that cast was making $1 million per episode, going towards the end. The last few seasons, because the longer a show goes, the more you have to pay actors to stay on it, because it's like, damn, how long am I going to be doing this goddamn show, right? So you have to pay them for taking up so much time, or taking them from other roles that they're willing
that they could possibly get
exactly.
Get into.
And anyway, there's other examples pulling $1 million per episode. There's Chris Pratt for The Terminal List, Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren in 1923. That's a new Netflix show. Jason Sudeikis on Ted Lasso, which he definitely deserves. I love that show. And Kevin Costner for Yellowstone. That's now. But back in the day, there was a few shows. I mean, I'm just thinking of Friends. I think even Seinfeld was one of those shows as well. Again, they deserve.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not new for an actor to get $1 million per episode, but people are getting their panties in a twist. And I'm wondering, those folks who are bringing up Sydney Sweeney, those folks are saying that what the hell does Zendaya need $1 million for each episode? I have a question.
Please.
Is it anti-blackness?
It's anti-blackness at its worst. Because this young lady, let me just, because Zendaya is my little cousin, I have to represent this little girl, because honestly, she's been doing the damn thing for her entire life. Okay? Literally. She's been in Disney. She's been working her entire life. Now she's gotten to a point where she literally commanded the attention for people to watch this show. Yes. She promoted it. She was the main character. She killed the character. Okay? She killed it. And from my understanding with acting, when you dive deep into a character like this, it has psychological damage that could be done. And so she's probably had to really, maybe gone to therapy or taken herself out of that role altogether. Mm-hmm. Now they're going on to a next season, and it's because of Zendaya. So yes, she does deserve the $1 million. And yes, this is anti-blackness at its worst. There's this young, vibrant Black woman who is killing it in the game, and they just can't deal with it. They just can't. They're wondering, why is she so special? Well, I think she's shown us why she's special.
I mean, I don't
understand. Mm-hmm. Like, do we need any? Like, at this point, right? And not only that, but she is the star power. I'm not going to say that those actors that are on Euphoria don't have any star power. Mm-hmm. They do, but nowhere in comparison to Zendaya. And the joke is, she's what, 26 years old? She's just getting started. She's just getting started. Even though this young lady has been acting for a long time. I've watched her on different Disney programs. I like her, and I like her a lot, and I like her attitude. And that is, you will not take my thunder. And she deserves her thunder. People have come for this girl with her hair, what she's wearing, what she's doing. She deserves the $1 million an episode. And if y'all have a problem with it, step up your game.
And it needs to be understood that she went into renegotiate this for her third season. Here's what she has. So anytime you hear the word renegotiate, that means, yes, we had an understanding when I signed on, but things done changed.
Yeah.
And some of the key things that have changed, she's won 2 Emmys already for this show. She's won 2.
Star power.
And like 100%. I mentioned she promotes the shit out of this show. Even with all the terrible backstories about Sam Levinson, who's a creator and writer for the show, she's still putting on a good face to keep the reputation of the show. Yeah, she's the star.
She's the star. So when you're the star, right? What makes you different from the rest of the cast? You get $1 million an episode.
Done. She not only she's doing the show. Remember, this is a girl who's working movies left, right. She's booked and busy, so you're gonna pay her for her time.
Busy, okay. She's booked and busy, and one thing I want to emphasize is that she did make this show what it is. Her character, how well it was played, was able to capture the audience for another season. So why shouldn't she renegotiate? I think what the real problem is that she negotiated and got what she wanted. I think that's the problem. Because the other castmates probably negotiated and didn't get anywhere near what she got. And so now we're all salty. So my real question here is, Wagwan for real? Well, we know what the hell is going on here. Okay, it's plain to see as day. And that is anti-Black. anti-black. I'm telling you, anything that has to do with a black woman specifically doing well and thriving and doing better than everybody else. We want to go on the social media and break her down. Why shouldn't she be getting that? Tell me, is anybody telling me why this woman, this young lady, should not be getting what she's getting?
Yeah.
Give me 3 good reasons why she shouldn't.
Okay.
Exactly. A pin has dropped. There's no damn reason. She should get what she's supposed to get, and she got it. And whoever negotiated that, kudos to you, because you saw her value and you didn't sleep on it.
Okay, and so Sydney Sweeney, who is another character on the show, my mind is blanking on her character's name for some reason. But anyway, she's, if anything, in terms of like performance, I could give her a close second. I can give her a second. And she didn't say anything, but her fans were the ones who were kind of like side-eyeing this announcement of Zendaya's alleged new salary.
Oh well, too bad. Suck it up, Buttercup.
And because, well, I'm not talking about her, but I'm saying her fans, because we talked about this the other day. The fans are different than the actual people. So and they're
that is true, but you still, as them, like, you should tell your fans. Actually, I think she deserves it.
Yeah, that's what she could do. She could do that.
Right? But the fact that she didn't shows me that you side with them.
Yeah, but it's not an overwhelming, like, you know, when there's something going on social media where it's like, no, we have to address it. Yeah. I don't think it's big enough to address like that, to be honest. But I just thought it was interesting, and like kudos to her. But the reason why her fans are kind of probably trying to take up for her is she did a interview last year with The Hollywood Reporter and said they don't pay actors like they used to. And with streamers, you no longer get residuals. The established stars still get paid, but I have to give 5% to my lawyer, 10% to my agents, 3% or something like that to my business manager. I have to pay my publicist every month, and that's more than my mortgage. Damn. But so that's interesting. So girl, Sydney, I think you could renegotiate your contract, and maybe you did. We just don't know about your salary. People always talk about the $1 million one because that's the big number for TV shows. Yeah, that's the one that gets talked about. And the big number
should be for the star of the show. Yeah, no. Yeah, because I think she's the star of the show.
Anyway, we've explored what is going on for real, and I think it's very clear. But I think this girl has proven herself many times. But if we just focus on Euphoria alone, she's done more than her weight for that particular production, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, I agree with you.
Her money.
Yes, and congratulations, Zendaya. Set new precedents wherever you turn. You hear, young lady, because at the end of the day, they can say whatever they want to say, but you know what you're worth, and you are not willing to settle for less. And honestly, all these young up and coming actors and actresses look to this as an example that she didn't sleep on it. She knows her value, and she's going to demand what she deserves. Period. And she got it. So good job. Good job, Zendaya.
And anybody who watches this show, like, Rue is literally pulling at your gut, your heart, your tears. Like, give her the money. She's putting me through so much emotional damage, okay?
Jeez, honestly, such a good job. No, for real. Like, the girl did it. She did the damn thing, yo. She created... Like, honestly, go watch Euphoria, everybody, and you'll see why I'm up in arms that she is the star of the show, okay? Because she is.
Okay.
All Anyways, we're going to move on, right? So we're going to move on into the workout. What am I saying? Into the workout. Get with it, Kim. Yes, and so... this is where we work out the heart and exercise the mental fitness, doing deep dive discussions on issues that are impacting our culture. And so one of the topics that we want to talk about that relates to, in the headlines, International Women's Day, is women that inspire you and why. And so we want to do this because not just that international, because we as women, me and Jeanette, are women, and we need inspiration from time to time. You know what I mean? Just like every other woman. even those who are inspiring us need inspiration. And so, I thought about one particular woman, and I mean, my mom, she's always inspiring me. I could talk for days about this woman. Her Christianity, her spirituality, her just being an awesome mom and grandmother. I could go on and on and on about her. And so one day I will, but not today. Today, I want to talk about a young lady that I've been watching steadily on YouTube for a while now. I want to say at least 5 years I've been watching this girl. And her name is Lovely T. And I'm sure all y'all out here, you know about Lovely T. She's thebomb.com. And the reason why she inspires me specifically is that she's not afraid to be herself. She's not afraid to say what's on her mind. She's not afraid to not care about what other people have to say about her. She's doing the damn thing, in and out. And I really respect that. And the reason why I respect that is because in this day and age, as Black women, and Lovely T is a Black woman in the United States, go look her up. She's awesome. I'm gonna give her a shout out right now. Lovely T, use the bomb. Okay, girl, use the bomb. Because in this day and age, as Black women, it seems as though we're meant to just, people are always trying to shut us up, or whatever we have to say is not nearly as important, or putting us off to the side. And this particular woman is saying, no, that's not going to work for me. I'm going to tell you what I have to say. And if you don't want to hear it, oh, well, keep scrolling. I'm going to still say it. And she stands in her shit, and she doesn't give a shit who says what about it. In this day and age, I find it hard in certain spaces as a Black woman to be able to do that. Yes, she does get criticized. Yes, there's always haters, but she still pushes through. And over the years, she's shown me that she's not willing to compromise on who she is. And that is inspiring, because everywhere I turn, outside of people like Lovely T, I'm expected to compromise who I am. I'm expected to, in certain spaces, to make myself small, near to invisible, to not be aggressive. And yes, I have my quotations on aggressive in my language, or in how I deal with things, or in how I talk about things. And this woman is showing me, no, it's not you, it's them. And you can do it too. You can be who you are. She's not rude and nasty, but she is firm with what she thinks and what she believes in. And another thing, outside of being a Black woman, and why I can relate and connect with her, is that as a person in this day and age that we're in, everything that is said has to be, politically correct about everything. People are scared to speak because of backlash of what they might say, or what they had said, or how they meant it, or the tone and all of that. Lovely, she's like, nah, I'm not up for that, fam. I'm gonna tell you what it is. And if you like it, you like it. You love it, you love it. If you don't, okay, you can keep it pushing. I'm gonna keep it pushing. And that's an attitude that I feel is being lost in our society right now, where it's okay to have an opinion. It's okay to not agree. It's okay to be off the cuff. It's okay. This is life. Why do we have to stifle? And the fact that she doesn't is awesome. And it is inspiring. It's inspiring to me specifically because I've always been like that. From I was a kid, I always just spoke my mind, what I thought. It got me in a lot of trouble. I'm not gonna lie to you. It got me in a lot of trouble. And over the years, I kind of dulled it a bit, just so that I can keep a job. Okay. And I could keep friendships in my life, and keep people in my life. And now that I'm not gonna tell you how old I am, but I'm old and damn enough. Okay, I could be Zendaya's mother for all you damn know. But anyhow,
no, you're not.
I'm
Come on,
old
girl.
enough.
You're not even that close. Come on now.
I am old enough. What you mean? I could have been real slack.
A teenager, a teen mom.
No, not in my mother's house, but no, I'm just saying. But I could. I'm just saying. I'm old enough where I've gotten to a point where I'm not willing to do that anymore. So if you know me, you know me, and you know my mouth is hot when I'm ready. However, I've learned that I don't need to be vulgar and rude to express myself, but that I should never dull expressing myself for nobody. And she's given me an example to go off of. She's doing the damn thing. You know what I'm saying? And she hasn't dulled herself. So why should I? For real. So that's my, we'll talk more about, Women's International Day. But so tell me something. Who's inspiring Jeanette? Who is it?
So I had a couple here. And like you said, I want to preface yes, my mom is always, up there. She is, this is minus mom because
right?
And something I always have to remember with our moms is we're supposed to be, they tried to give us a better life that they had, and so
sure did.
They weren't perfect. Nobody is.
No,
but they did the best they can, and there are some things that I really admire about her and how she,
and when you think about it, Jeanette, they did the damn thing.
They did it
because we did have a better life than they did.
Yeah, exactly. So they accomplished that, right? Exactly. So big thing there. So I'll go. I'll go by who. So I have a couple. So first, I wanted to go with the person that inspired me to think of this topic for our workout session today. And I'm going to start with Miss Erykah Badu.
Yes, Badu.
And she recently
has kind of pom-pom.
Yeah. she did a few interviews recently because Vogue did a video special with her, and they went and visited her home studio in her home, and she doesn't do a lot of interviews. So if you get a chance to see Erykah do an interview versus performing or whatever, that's she's not perfect, but I'd love to hear her, because when I was a kid and she came out, her big major album, maybe she had albums before Baduizm, but I just know her. Baduizm was her breakout album. She did the Grammys, she did everything. And her videos were everywhere, even in Canada, and Much Music, on MTV and BET. She was everywhere, and it was different because she wasn't the typical kind of R&B artist, and she did she had a more jazz infused Billie Holiday type of tone. It's like, whoa, she's so different, but she's so successful. Yep. And one of the reasons I think we talk about pretty privilege, she's very beautiful. She has light colored eyes. I think that all of those paid into her early success, especially being so different. But she still has, proven herself over the years that she's a quintessential artist, and the way she expresses herself is very unique, and to me comes from a pure place versus try hard. But there could be something there as well. And so why, outside of, that inspired me and I saw the interview, something that stood out to me is the importance of the body, being cognizant of how you take care of your skin. And she said, because she has a sauna where it has ultra red rays that are really good for heating the skin and keeping very so sweating is good. So we drink a lot of water, but sweating,
that's why she don't look like she aged.
And she does. She works on it, because she said the biggest organ, since she reminded the viewers, the biggest organ on the human body is the skin.
That's right.
And we need to look after our skin. I mean, as Black people, we are particularly, I think we pay a lot of attention to that, because our skin requires a lot of moisture as to look its
Mm-hmm.
truest shine and color.
Mm-hmm.
Without
Mm-hmm.
moisture, our skin does not look nice. So
Mm-mm.
already from when we were a
Mm-mm.
kid, at least at the very least, we're gonna moisturize our skin. But even to do more is
Mm-hmm.
to sweat out your skin, sweat
That's
out
right.
the toxins out of your body. And
That's
so
right.
she had me wanting to look up one of those. She said she got it off of Amazon. I was
Okay,
like, damn.
Mr. Amazon. Okay.
She made me want to go get one of those infrared type of saunas up in my place. But anyway, another thing she said is the purity of sound. And like everybody has their own therapy, and obviously it makes sense that sound would be hers. And so she had
Mm-hmm.
all
Of
these
course, yeah.
different sounding instruments that she uses to kind of meditate and kind of just inspire herself as she's in the creative process or just relaxing. And then second, she went following that interview. She was on Tamron Hall and then The Breakfast Club about a week later, and they were talking to her because she also is a doula,
Mm-hmm.
who brings babies into life. A lot,
It
mostly
just fits her
celebrities,
personality so
which fits her
much.
personality,
Jeez.
and she's
Yeah.
also a deaf doula.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so sitting with people while they're in hospice care and stuff like that in their last days. And so she said, I am the welcoming committee for those babies coming in, and the ushering committee for those
Wow,
going
that's
out.
deep.
And why this is inspiring to me is like that's like knowing the understanding life.
Yep.
If you understand life, that's not a scary thing. There's some people, why would you be a deaf doula? If you know life, she's bringing life in. I think as somebody who brings babies into this world,
Mm-hmm.
she has an even deeper understanding, and so can makes it even comfortable for her to help people transition. Because as your baby coming in, taking your first breath,
Mm-hmm.
welcoming into the world, so she's welcoming them. And as a
Mm-hmm.
person taking your last breath, one of those things she said when she explained why she did it and why it's important and what actually a death doula is, which again, that was fairly new to me,
Mm-hmm.
is you shouldn't be alone. You want to make them feel comfortable. You want them
Yeah.
to, because sometimes their family's not there, or maybe their family can't handle it and stuff like that. And so that's a beautiful thing that she does.
She
But
is. I agree with that. Yeah.
in summary, something that three main things we're talking about: why she's a woman and why we aspire to, why she's inspirational. She is very much connected to her femininity, her
Yep.
womanhood. She lives in it authentically. She's unapologetic. Because,
There
when I
you
was
go.
seeing these videos, there was a lot of comments criticizing her for she has three children, with three different relationships, and
Mm-hmm.
she has not been married. She has never really publicly acknowledged a lot of her partners. If there are celebrities, people might know if she tells you. The only main one of those relationships, even though they were all famous, was Andre 3000, because
That's about it.
they were both at the height of their career when they got together. So it was hard to miss them as a couple, right? A
And doesn't
gorgeous
she have
couple.
a son? Doesn't she have a son with him?
Yeah, so I'm gonna say. So her first son
Yeah.
is from Andre 3000. Her second, her daughter is from DOC. He's a rapper who was a 80s and 90s
Yep.
rappers. And her third daughter is actually her third child and second daughter is actually Jay Electronica, which I
Wow.
learned recently. I did not know that her third daughter was from.
Really?
Yeah, so all three of her husbands are famous rappers. And
Wow.
so she never married any of them, and so pretty much she was being criticized online, with these recent interviews I was telling you about. But it makes people, and so that's why I aspired to her, because a woman who's comfortable in her life's decisions.
Mm-hmm.
She's a mother.
Mm-hmm.
She's had wonderful relationships. She respects all those men. She's never bad talked them, and they, you know what?
Nope.
None of them bad talked her. And that's what they
No.
always say. All the men that she's had, I think they still love her very much and respect her.
Yeah, Andre 3000 had a hard time getting over her ass too.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and don't forget Common. She
Yes,
changed
Common
Common's.
Common had a hard time too, and I still think it's something not right. But
Yeah, so
anyway,
and Common changed his whole look after
yep,
all the men
sure
she's
did.
been with. She's had a huge influence. So can you imagine a woman with that much power? And when she
This
was
is
on
it.
Tamron Hall's show, Tamron Hall brought it up. Is it true? She asked the question. Is it true that any man that looks at your eyes falls in love with you or whatever, right? And she's like, yeah, and women too, and children too, and animals as well. And that's something, and that
Wow.
is a person. And honestly, Tamron looked like she swooned a little bit too. I was like, Tamron, get it together.
Get it together,
But
please.
please don't fall for it now. And what was interesting again, that's a woman who's tapped into her divine feminine, they call
Yes,
it.
she has. Yes, she has.
And how could you not look up to that? And she hasn't lived a conventional life in terms of her
No.
relationships and her children, but you know what, she has respected them and left them when it served her. And I think instead of a lot of us, because of convention and expectation, or just maybe fear, we stay in situations that are not no longer serve us. And I think with her story and how she's expressed how each of these relationships brought something beautiful to her, not only just her children, but also fed her with something else by being in those relationships, that her staying in them when it was no longer purposeful or bringing
Wasn't
joy,
serving her
it
anymore.
wasn't serving her. She wasn't
No.
happy anymore. And
No.
so for people to criticize her, she doesn't care because slides right off her shoulder. So I'm going to stop.
Literally.
I'm going to stop with Erica and move on. But like, so essentially it's like, yes, she's not conventional. It's not because she's beautiful, it's not because she's famous and talented, it's not just style. Those are all important things. But my thing is her connection to life, the spirit, and finding joy in the small things in life, not this big accolades, money, all this stuff. I think because she's so connected to herself, that is enhanced her music, that is enhanced her performance, that connection. Is if you see her perform live, I haven't seen it live, but I mean, I see it on TV and I'm like, damn, this girl, talent aside, there's something she's connected to outside of just her talent.
And you can feel it.
You can feel it. And that's why she said lots of people are attracted to her, drawn to her. Okay, so that's Erica. Obviously, I mean, I was going to say Oprah's on the list, but we know Oprah's life. We know her situation. I mean, I don't think I need to say much more. We know her rags to riches story. Yes, of course she's on my list. She's
mine too.
She's the first Black woman billionaire. Come on, you guys know the story, so I'm not going to go into this. And I already did enough long talking. My last person that I'm going to talk a little bit about is Issa Rae.
Really?
Issa Rae.
Okay, I can see that.
There's different reasons. Like nobody on this I mentioned is perfect. They have their flaws. I'm focusing on what's interesting and aspirational to me personally. And so Issa Rae is authentically herself. Anybody actually who's authentically themselves is
all right in my books.
All right in my books. As long as you're not anti-Black or anti-woman.
That's all I'm saying.
You're all right. And so
yeah, you're all right with me, girl. You're all right with me.
And what was interesting is how she kind of went as creating a web series on YouTube, which was Awkward Black Girl, which was like hilarious and amazing, to actually not only getting her show Insecure on HBO, but securing a full how many $1 million deal. Now she won't say because she's a Capricorn. She's not going to talk about her money affairs.
Nope.
But I know she made I feel like I think it's more than double digit millions. She ain't telling us nothing, but I can tell from her life that she's good. And outside of obviously creative and how she supports her friends, she's one of those people who took her friends with her. Like, she believes in sisterhood. Maybe, yes, there's an actress who could play the role better, but she's going to go with a friend or somebody in her, or at least in her network, in her circle. May not be her friend, but somebody connected and networked in her circle, right? So I love that, and I aspire to be that if I am ever in a position to help my friends in that way. And they've proved themselves, not just any wet friend, but I mean, as long as you put yourself as long as you prove yourself and you're worthy and it makes sense, of course. That's how I truly believe that.
I agree.
And something that she did that my niece made a joke about me. So Issa got married, I believe it was last year. And she, the way she announced it was going on her Instagram and posting the pictures and say that she did a photo shoot in a Vera Wang dress, and her friends came and wore matching dresses and stuff like. So she was very la di da about it. So she didn't expressly say it, and it kind of. I mean, I know she had the ring on, so I knew she was engaged, but she never really, and she did announce her engagement a couple years before I think a year before the pandemic. So I did know she was with somebody, but everybody was like, "Oh, she just went and got married." Yeah, my niece was like, "That's something you would do, Jeanette," and I was like, "You're damn right."
Yeah.
And so,
I see it.
Just respecting the privacy and doing your own thing, and people will find out in time. So that's it. I'm not going to go too long. I think the themes here is being authentically yourself, supporting your friends, being connected to your divine feminine, very important, and a connection to earth and life outside of your success.
That's right. And for me, when I think of specifically International Women's Day, I feel like it's an opportunity for all of us women to share what it is that has made us triumph in our lives.
Yes, very important.
Share those things with each other, because, when you help one, you're helping us all. Like, really and truly. I know it might not feel that way. And yes, we've had discussions about, feminism and how, we've dissected feminism to the 10th degree. But at the end of the day, we are all women, and we are all in the struggle. We're all in the struggle. We might not be together, but we're in the struggle. And so passing around, and taking the time to even so much as just give a fellow woman a pat on the back and just say, you did the damn thing. You did the damn thing, Zendaya. You did the damn thing, Erykah Badu. You did the damn thing, Lovely T. And you're inspiring those around you. And, it's nice that we're taking the time and we're taking a moment to recognize these women, because they might not be in the box of what the world thinks that a woman should be like. And
that's why they stood out to me.
Yeah. And that's why they stand out. And that's why we need to give them their flowers while we can. And if you can, give other people flowers. Give other women that inspire you. Or if you yourself want to inspire other people, live in your truth. Live in your truth. Walk your walk. Talk your talk. Be who you are. And somebody out there, you just might inspire them. And if it's just one woman, one soul that you can inspire, then so be it. And so do that. And so with that being said, we do hope that your hearts and your minds were activated on this week's show. It was a great show, by the way. I this is the type of things I like to do as a woman, and so whether you lead with your heart or your mind, please stay passionate and thoughtful. And happy International Women's Day to all the women in the world, the ones that are fighting the good fight, the ones that have gotten where they need to get going. Don't forget the ones behind. Don't forget the ones coming up.
Embrace
equity. We have
equity.
a duty to those ones coming up. So enjoy yourself this week, and we'll holler at you guys real soon and in a hurry.
Bye.